Hi everybody, Jody here with Funerals Your Way. We're here at Miramar National Cemetery in San Diego, California, just to give you, well, an idea of what a beautiful spot it actually is. Now, one of the things that's really interesting about Miramar National Cemetery is that they are currently going through a series of expansions which will result in there being the third largest national cemetery in the nation. The second is Riverside National Cemetery, and the first, of course, is Arlington National Cemetery. Now, one of the things that I really like about Miramar National Cemetery is that while the cemetery itself is over 300 acres, there's about 100 acres of land set aside for a wildlife preserve. We have several endangered species located here. Those species are the interment, which is a plant, of course, button celery, another plant, the California gnatcatcher, which is a bird, and the San Diego fairy shrimp. Now, it's really wonderful that in addition to honoring our veterans, they are also honoring the land by setting aside natural habitat for some of the original native species. So let's take a look at some of those places. We're here at the terminus of the Avenue of Flags. Behind me here, you'll see that the flag is at half-mast. That is perpetually at half-mast in honor of our fallen heroes here at Miramar National Cemetery. You also frequently will see planes flying overhead. Because of the proximity to Marine Corps Air Station at Miramar, we have a lot of military air traffic. One of the things that I really appreciate is when you see the planes flying directly overhead, they will frequently tip their wings in salute to the soldiers here. Now, the flag behind us is actually one of the largest flags that is sanctioned by the U.S. military. And behind that is some more of that preserved wildlife land. We wanted to take you out here and show you some of the expansion that's currently happening. We really like how they are expanding the cemetery and at the same time being very aware of maintaining the wildlife habitat. What's wonderful about this being a protected area is even though the cemetery will be expanded, the wildlife preserve will remain the same in perpetuity. It makes for a beautiful, natural, and very peaceful setting. It's also a great place to watch some of the planes maneuver. So here we are by one of the vernal pools here at Miramar National Cemetery. Now, a vernal pool is a seasonal pool that has water in it during the winter, and then during the summer months, it dries up. One of the protected species here is the San Diego fairy shrimp. They actually live in the water in these vernal pools. Now, it's an important food source for migratory birds, so you'll often see different types of birds out here. Also, with these fairy shrimp, they have a very interesting life cycle. They lay eggs in two phases. During the wet season, when there's water in the vernal pool, their eggs have a very thin casing and they hatch while they're in the water. During the dry season, the eggs that they have laid will have a very thick shell. So thick, in fact, that it enables the shrimp to survive for up to 10 years and becomes animated once there's water in the pool again. Now, my favorite thing about the San Diego fairy shrimp is that it reminds me of something which you may remember as a kid being in love with comic books during the 60s. I was fascinated by the ad in the back of most every comic book that said you could buy and grow your own sea monkeys. And the San Diego fairy shrimp is very closely related to sea monkeys, who are not monkeys, but shrimp. As we get ready to leave Miramar National Cemetery, we always stop and pay our respects to the POW MIA monument. Prisoners of war and those missing in action are often not recognized enough, but they frequently gave the ultimate sacrifice for our freedoms. We do appreciate you joining us today. If you'd like any more information about Miramar National Cemetery, feel free to ask info@funeralsyourway.com. And once again, a shout out and big thank you to the veterans that are currently serving and those that have served in the past. We could not do what we do without your service. Thank you so much. Take care, everybody. Safe travels.